We are going to look at determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. How do we carry out that? Now, we want to look for what? The determinant, given matrix D equal to this and matrix C equal to this. We want to look for the determinant of D and also the determinant of C. Now, D determinant of matrix D, we have 3, 4, 7, minus 1, minus 2, 2, and we have 1, 3, and 5. Now we have to pay attention. How do we go about the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix? Now this is what we do. This is equal, or let me just say equal to, we are going to close the first row and the first column. Let me use this portion as a point for illustration. This is what we have. Let's say we have our 3, 4, 7, minus 1, minus 2, 2, and we have 1, 3, 5. I want to use this as a point of illustration. If we are cancelling this and we are cancelling this, what are we going to have left? To be minus 2, 2, 3, and 5. Is that not? That is what we mean by closing the first row and the first column. When we close that, it will be reduced to minus 2, 2, 3, and 5. So what do? This value here, the value here is what? 3. So we bring it out 3. We now have what? Minus 2, 2, 3, and 5. We are going to look for that. Now, the position of each of these values here, that is intercept, their sign is determined by the addition of their row and column number. If we add their row and column number, it is even number, their sign will be positive. But if we add their row and column position number, if it is an odd number, their sign will be negative. For example, the first one here, where this one intersects, this is what? First row, first column, 1, 1. So 1 plus 1 gives us what? 2. And 2 is an even number, so it is a positive value in front of it here. We get that? It's a positive value in front of it here. So this is what we have. The next one, what are we doing? Now look at this again. 3, 4, 7, minus 1, minus 2, 2. Then we have 1, 3, and what? 5. The next is for us, we are closing this first row. This time we are going to change it to the second column. So if we close the first row and the second column, what do we have? Our 4 here, that is the intercept of the row and column closure. What is the position of this value? 4 here. 4 is in the first row, which is 1, and in the second column, which is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Because 1 plus 2 is 3, is what? Odd number. The sign here becomes what? Minus. So we now say minus 4. And what are the values outside there now? Minus 1, 2, and we have 1, and we have 5. Hope we get that. This is what we are looking for. Then the next, we are going to close this same one first row and the third column. Hope we are getting that now. This first row and the third column. So if we are closing the first row and the third column, what do we have? What will be our sign? Look at this. 3, 4, 7, minus 1, minus 2, 2, 1, 3, 5. The first row we are closing and the third column we are closing. What do we have? First, what is our sign here? Our sign will be what? This is the first row, 1, and the third column, which is 1 plus 3. So 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. And 4 is what? Is even number. So our sign there becomes what? Plus. Plus 7. And now bring this out. What are the values outside here now? Minus 1, minus 2. We have what? 1, 3. So this becomes the determinants we are going to look for. Now let's go on. This is now equal to what? This is 3 here. 3. Open our brackets. Find the determinant now. What's the determinant? We've learned how to do our 2 by 2 now. Minus 2 times 5 gives us what? Minus what? 10. Minus 3 times 2 will give us what? 6. This is now minus 4. Open your bracket again. Minus 1 times 5 will give us what? Minus 5. Then minus 1 times 2 will give us what? 2. Plus 7. Open your bracket. Minus 1 times 3 gives you minus 3. Then minus 2 times 1 gives you what? Minus 2. When the minus 2 multiply this negative here, now becomes what? Plus 2. So this now gives us what? 3. Open bracket. Minus 10 minus 6 gives you what? Minus what? 16. Minus 4. Open bracket. Minus 5 minus 2 gives us what? Minus 7. Then plus 7. Open bracket. Minus 3 plus 2 gives us what? Minus 1. We are going to multiply 3 times minus 16. So 3 times 6 will give us what? 18. We now write what? 8. Carry 1. And 3 times 1 is what? 3. Plus the 1 we carry will give us what? 4. So our value here becomes what? Minus 48. We go to the next one. This is minus 4. Minus 4 times minus 7 becomes what? Plus. Becomes plus 28. Then we have this. Plus 7 times minus 1. That gives us what? Minus 7. Minus 7. Now let's look at that. Minus 48 plus 28. That will give us what? Minus what? 20. Give us minus 20. Minus 20 minus what? 7. So our answer is what? Minus what? 27. So that is the determinant of D. Let's look at the second example there. We have to find the determinant of C. C determinant, which is given to us as minus 1, minus 2, 3. We have 2, 4, 3, and we have 3, 1, 2. So now let's look at that. We want to look for the determinant of C. Let's close our row number 1. Now what are we going to get? 4, 3, 1, 2. So what's the value here? The value here is what? Minus. So we have minus 1. And we have what? 4, 3, 1, 2. Now let's look at the next one. We are going to close row number 1 and column number 2. When we close row number 1 and column number 2, what do we have? The sign, because it's row 1 and column 2, 1 plus 2 will give us what? 3. 3 is odd number. So the sign is supposed to be what? Minus. So its negative sign will now do what? Multiply. The negative sign of 2 here now becomes what? Plus. Then now becomes what? Plus 2. So plus 2, what do we have? When we close the first row and the second column, we are going to have 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. We now have what? 2, 3, 3, 2. Then the last, we are going to close this first row and the last column, the third column. So we now have plus 3. When we close this and this, what do we have? We are going to get what? 2, 4 and what? 3, 1. 2, 4 and 3, 1. So that is what we have. So now let's proceed with our determinant. This is minus 1. Open your bracket. 4 times 2 gives you what? 8. Minus 1 times 3 gives you 3. Plus 2. Open the bracket. 2 times 2 gives us what? 4. Minus 3 times 3 gives us what? 9. Plus 3. Open your bracket. 2 times 1 gives us what? 2. Minus 3 times 4 gives us what? 12. Now let's look at that. What do we have? Minus 1. Open bracket. 8 minus 3 is equal to what? 5. Plus 2. Open bracket. 4 minus 9 is equal to what? Minus 5. Then plus 3. Open bracket. 2 minus 12 is equal to minus 10. So we now have minus 1 times 5 is equal to minus 5. 2 times minus 5 will give us what? Minus 10. And 3 times minus 10 will give us what? Minus 30. So what becomes our answer? Minus 5 plus minus 10 will give us what? Minus 15. Minus 15 minus 30 will now give us what? Minus 45. So our answer is minus 45.